Hello, everyone. So I've decided to do a podcast. This is my first podcast. I've never done anything like it, so I hope it'll go okay. I think I'll do it very simple at least this first time, meaning, one shot and we'll see how it goes. No music, no cutting things. I might have to put a couple of pieces together, but I think I won't go any further than that. And it would be ideal if I didn't have to actually put any pieces together. Last night I had two FOs, so that gave me quite a bit of energy, and I'm really, really happy with it. One of my FOs of last night is this one. I'm calling it an FO. I still have four ends to weave in, but it is absolutely fabulous. I love it. I'll show it a bit more. You see, like this, and there's a line in the back which looks great. Yes. Now the two of us haven't always been, not me and the cat, but me and this Ava jacket haven't always been best friends. I had a few frustrations working it, but I think it was definitely worth it. So the yarn for it's Alpaca 3 by Isager, and Tweed by Alpaca Tweed by no, not Alpaca, Isager Tweed, and Marilyn Isager as well. The yarn, they're very good yarns, and the fabric that is produced is just great. It's very soft. It's got just the right density. Also, I got the kit from Isager, and that's all I have left of those yarns, and I had loads of it. So I think the calculations of the quantities were quite good, were quite reliable. This one is nice, but it's a chenette construction. That's the Alpaca 3, and I like to knit with pointy needles, which means I was harpooning the yarn regularly when I was working it. So but I think that's my knitting or my choice of needles, whatever. It's still really nice yarn. The frustration thing about it was that if you want to have the little black bits, appearing a lot, you need to have them on the completely at the left of your right needle when you're working these pieces, these lines. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's my knitting. Maybe it's the way I knitted. But I constantly had to sort of move the thread, to the right of the other threads to have the proper look. So I don't know. Maybe that's me, but that was a bit frustrating. The last thing which was frustrating is the calculation for the picking up stitches. Yeah, my cat is here. You can't really see him, but he's here, and yeah. Yes, threads are next. Oh, you're busy now. Jeez. Anyway, so picking up threads for the sleeves, the calculations were a bit surprising because you'd have to pick up a huge number of stitches there to get 2 full repeats, and then enough white stitches so that you could have your line nicely in the middle, and then sort of very, very spaced out here. Same thing for ours to have the right number of repeats. So I solved that by changing the number of stitches for the repeats. I think for my size, the repeats were 9 stitches, and I changed it to 8, so I wouldn't have so many stitches to pick up here, and it worked out nicely here, whilst otherwise it would have been completely spread out. So that worked nicely. Okay, we have a bit of misbehavior here. He usually behaves very well, but I think, I don't know. Maybe today, it's Saturday, it's the weekend. Ooh, okay. Okie dokie. So anyway, very pleased with this. Only the togs need to be done. I started it early December. I checked yesterday because I couldn't remember. I checked it, I started it early December. So for me, that's quite slow because I'm not completely monogamous, but I'll have 2, perhaps 3 whips on my needles at the same time. But more than that, I get it demotivates me. I don't get motivated, and it just ends up being cast aside, and I usually end up frogging it, but sometimes quite a bit later. By the time I completely give up on that. Anyway, so I finished that last night, and I was very, very pleased with that. I've never seen him misbehave like that. I'm really sorry. He's usually very, very well behaved with yarn. So another thing I want to show you, which was not a whip Nefo from last night, is my Theia sweater. So I'll put this on so you can see it. It was released a couple of weeks ago, I think. So I love it, love it, love it. It's worked with Fable by West Yorkshire Spinners, which is a great yarn. It has alpaca in it, it has mohair, but not too much. And it has obviously wool, which is, I think, Falkland wool, but I'd have to check that. I could check that for you. That would make some sense. Ooh, some sense. Fable. It's to wool. It just says wool. So, you know, maybe not Falkland wool, but I think it's from the UK. It's really lovely. I mean, it, you know, it makes everything look so nice. It's very easy to work. No harpooning your yarn, you know. It's also, it's really, really great to be able to have more hair, but only have one thread, you know, on your needle. It's always more comfortable. He's so misbehaving. Anyway, so really great. One thing, it works with 5mm needles, which I think is, oh damn it, I think it's US 222. Is it 6? I think it's 6, but it might be 8. Oh, it's 8. US 8. Sorry. This for the other one, I forgot to tell you. I went up needle size. It's quite large needles. I think I knitted it with 6mm, 5.5, and 5mm. So it's a fast knit if you don't have to bother with if you're not too bothered with moving the stitch, with the Meriline to the left of your right needle. If you don't have that problem, which, I mean, maybe I'm the only one having had that. It's a fast knit. I just wasn't very focused on it and got a bit frustrated, and but anyway, this Theia, Theia, it's got a sort of slip stitch line here. It has a split hem, and it has a medallion here, which for me was reminiscent of the antique rings, where you have different circles of rounded stones on a ring. Anyway, I saw that, and in a museum, I loved it, and photos didn't come out decent, so I can't show them. And try to mimic, or yes, try to mimic this pattern. Anyway, so that's two things. One finished yesterday, and this finished a while ago, really. I think I finished it a couple of months ago. It's a fast knit. I mean, this one is a size 4, and I added some of the increases for the sleeves, which is something, my patterns, usually I try to give you options, because not everybody, it's not just that you don't like the same fit, it's that sometimes people have, well, either they have more athletic arms, or they, some people like, yes, baby, here goes. Yes, slightly improvised, as you can see. People like different fits, so it's fair enough that people can have something where they can adjust the width of the arms, or whatever. I realize not every pattern enables that, because if you're doing something with a textured pattern, it's more tricky. I usually try also to have bust darts, because personally, I have different size for my shoulders and for my bust circumference. So I think it gives me more comfort to not have things too short up front. I always actually use horizontal bust darts, which add a bit of ease at bust level, a bit of ease, but mainly they add length. And that means that you don't end up with something which is too short in the front or too long in the back. This being said, this one doesn't have bust darts, because I couldn't work them out in a satisfactory manner. well, satisfactory to my taste with this with the eyelets. Um, yeah. Anyway, this. So let's move on to this one. This is worked with Lumen by Laine des Îles, which is a great yarn. I mean, it's fantastic. It's 50% wool, and this time I will tell you whether it's Falkland or not from the start. Falkland Island wool, Polworth, probably mispronouncing that. Anyway, 25% Belgian linen and 25% tencel. It feels great. It's super easy to work. You don't have this, sometimes plant-based yarns can be a little bit hard on your hands, but this is fine. This is super easy to work, and it's very comfortable. It's really nice. I'm not saying that I would wear it when the weather is like torrid, but for the evenings, for if you have aircon where you are, and for spring, obviously. I mean, I think it's just right. I think it's great. It looks so pretty, also. Anyway. What else do I want to tell you? So I'll just show you. I mean, it won't be long, but I'll just show you my other the other sample that I finished yesterday. It's that one, which is knitted with Linae by Natalie à Chanvre. This one is 95% linen and 5% cotton, which makes it really different from linen, because linen yarn shines. This is matte. This doesn't shine. And also, I think it gives it a certain density, which you don't really have with linen, because it's so hard to get linen to be really sticking to your needle. I mean, usually when you work with linen, it's like floating above your needle. You don't have as much a problem with that. Now, it's a little bit harder on the hands than wool, obviously. So, but for a top which has no sleeves, unless you work, 3, 4, 5, whatever, I think it's a very, very nice option. And this can be worn when it's still quite warm, when it's still very warm. The one I finished yesterday is wet. It's still drying, so I can't show it to you. It's on the blocking mats, and I don't think my blocking mats look very pretty with it. The green, yellow, and blue ones. Ugh. Anyway, I don't like to look at it on that. So this is what I wanted to tell you for today. So I think this is brief. Maybe I should tell you a little bit more about my other versions of the Theia sweater. Maybe that's that. Let me just put this on hold for a second and think. Okay. Hello, I'm back. I'm back and ready. The other versions, I mean, this is going to be quick, but the other versions of the Theia sweater, because, if you're in the northern hemisphere, it's probably, depending on where you're going to be spending your summer, but it's probably a bit late in the season to tell you about this. But if you're in the southern hemisphere, well, maybe you'll be interested. So, another version of Theia. This is knit with Gilead, so really soft, easy to get anywhere. This is worsted, so the pattern is adapted so you don't end up having problems with length, because the stitch count is the same, but the row count is not the same with Gilead. And anyway, this is Gilead in printemps meaning spring, and I think it works really well. This one is worked in my size, which is a size 3, and you still have the back slip stitch, the hem, the open split hem, and the medallion, which shows, I think, slightly less, because the yarns is heathered, thinner, and a bit darker. It shows more in the other samples. And this is my third sample, which I made with Vide. Medallion shows super well. This one is a size 2. I worked it in like 5 days, and not 5 days where I was knitting all day, 5 days where I was working and knitting, perhaps 3.5 hours, in the evening. So it really is a very, very fast knit. Same thing, you've got the slip stitch which goes from the shoulders to the wrist. And you've got the split hem. And honestly, this medallion, it is nice, isn't it? Anyway, very happy with it, very pleased with it. And it's not completely seasonal, admittedly, but it is nice. It is nice. Anyway, I think I'll stop for now. I'll say goodbye. I'll thank you for being so patient and see you soon.